Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a first impressions and review of the new Tarte Clay Stick Foundation. So I have mine in the shade Fair Neutral, and did want to give you a little bit of swatch comparisons really quickly so I can wash these off my hand. But this is what the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation and the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Foundation shades that I have look like in comparison. So this is the Clay Stick Foundation in the shade Fair Neutral. This is the actual Rainforest of the Sea foundation in the shade Fair Neutral, so those are pretty different shade tones. And this is the Rainforest of the Sea foundation in the lightest shade, the new lightest shade, Porcelain. For a while, Fair Neutral was the lightest shade, and it is a little bit too dark for me even in the summer, but I do use the Aqua Sealer, the Tarte Aqua Sealer, to sort of brighten up the higher points in my face, and I can make it work. But this is clearly a much better color tone for me, primarily in the winter, but these two together are like my perfect shade. But those are sort of these swatch comparisons of the foundation, just so you guys can get a good look at what they actually look like. I almost want to say that Fair Neutral in the Stick Foundation and in the Rainforest of the Sea Foundation look much more neutral to warm toned, as composed, as opposed to just being neutral. But that, I'm just going to wipe those off my hands because that's going to get messy. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the actual stick foundation now that we have the comparison swatches out of the way. So I do have the information here up on my phone. This retails for $39 at Sephora, Tarte.com. Now I'm not sure if Ulta has it yet. If it does, I'll link it below for you guys. This is the lightest shade that they have. I think Fair Neutral. They might, Fair Beige might be slightly lighter. But I believe it was much more pink tone, so I went with the Fair Neutral, and I am currently wearing this on my skin. Now on to the claims of this product. There's absolutely no claims on the packaging, just the ingredients, and that's about it. It says coverage medium and full, not sure if you're full and medium, skin type sensitive, dry, normal, combination oily, finish natural. Let's see if there's a read more. What it does. Clay Stick Foundation is a buildable powder liquid formula that melts into your skin for medium to full coverage, leaving a natural finish that looks and feels just like your own skin. Micro-encapsulated powders then burst with your body heat to keep you shine and cake free. The vegan formula features antioxidant vitamin C, E, and Amazonian clay, a skin balancing powerhouse that hydrates or mattifies, depending on your skin type. The guilt-free blend is fresh of any harsh chemicals, including talc, gluten, sulfates, and parabens, and it provides buildable, creamy coverage. Use it on the go as a spot concealer, or in a lighter or darker shade as a highlight or contour. Just swipe, blend, and go. This is a 12-hour wear creamy clay foundation stick that delivers weightless, natural-looking coverage and nutrients. So you're going to see my demo and my sort of first impressions on this product, but that is what the product claims to be. So if you'd like to stay tuned, you'll be able to see a demo of this product. If you have any questions, as always, please leave them down below, and please stay tuned for the demo. All right, guys, so we are, again, testing out the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation. Mine is in the shade Fair Neutral. I'm just going to put my hair up a little bit. As you can see, it is quite damp. I just got out of the shower. And I'm just getting ready for the day. So I have a couple different tools that I've brought to apply this foundation with. A damp beauty blender. This is just a BH Cosmetic sort of flat top angled brush, which I really like for specific foundations. And this is just sort of like one of those round oval brushes. I usually use the smaller one for foundation, but that one is dirty, so we've got the bigger one. I have primed my face with the It Cosmetics By Pores. So let's just go ahead and get started. So let's see here. This is, again, what the product looks like. I'm just going to... It almost looks creamy in the tube compared to some other stick foundations, specifically the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. This one definitely looks more creamy. Hopefully that means it will apply nice and smoothly. So let's just go ahead and get started. I don't have a ton of things to cover up. I do have one sort of spot that's underneath the skin, and then these are just scars. They're not active or anything, but let's just, oh, that goes on really smooth. Oh my gosh, okay, so that is definitely a lot smoother than I was anticipating, and I'm not sure about the coverage, so I hope that's not too much. I hope it's not too little. I'm going to go in with, let's do the Beauty Blender first on this side of the face and see how that blends out. Okay, so I think that's just absorbing product. I don't know if the primer I used was not, I don't want to say slippery enough, but moisturizing enough. It is sort of like it makes my skin really smooth and silky, but I don't think it's a very hydrating primer. But wow, I mean, it blended out, but I also think this really takes away from the coverage of the foundation. So that's one side. Let's try the other. That was really fast. I'm going to try the other side. I'm going to try one of the brushes. It goes on insanely creamy. I think that's the same amount that I put on the other side, maybe. Okay, I'm trying to determine which brush I want to try. I think I'm going to try this one. This is the brush that I prefer to use with the CoverGirl Outlast foundation. I'm obsessed with this combination. I don't know why. I haven't worn that foundation in a while, but love that with this brush. So let's just go ahead and give this a go. Okay, so it does take a bit longer to blend out with a brush, but let's compare the coverage. I will say it's sinking into the pores on the brush side. Unfortunately, that tends to be the case with brushes for me most of the time. But I think it's a little bit more coverage on the brush side. However, I don't think I like it as much as with the sponge, but I think I am going to need a little bit more coverage. And I am going to, just a little bit, what was that? I'm going to blend it out with my Beauty Blender. I mean, with the sponge, it definitely blends out pretty nicely. I don't know if it's going to fix it kind of did. It sort of fixed the sinking into the pores issue that I was having with the brush. I always have like one little smile line that foundation likes to sink into. So I always try to blend that out pretty well. Okay. So I think we are blended. Definitely prefer it with a sponge, but I don't think it's super full coverage. Like I said, you can still see sort of the scarring that I have and this one little red spot that I've got. I am going to go finish up the rest of my face, and then we'll be right back to check in with sort of my final thoughts and first impressions, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we are back and I have finished the rest of my face, nothing super crazy. For concealer, I went with the Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer from Catrice Cosmetics. I wouldn't call it actually high coverage, but I love the way it sits under my eyes. To set my face, I went with my Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. Really do enjoy this stuff. Will say it did sit a little weird until I really sort of blended it out pretty well with my Beauty Blender. That is usually how I set my T-zone area, and then I use a fluffy brush everywhere else, actually on the rest of my face as well. Once I have done that with the Beauty Blender, and I sort of had to blend it out on my cheeks where I used the fluffy fluffy brush. But then it sort of evened itself out. Let's see, for mascara, I went with the They're Real Tinted Primer. Love this stuff for super easy minimal makeup days. For highlight, blush, and bronzer, I went with the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. I went with the Mary Luminizer for my highlight from the Balm, and then I went with Benefits Dallas for a little bit of color on my cheeks. I'm going to have to try to use this as a bronzer because I've heard lots of people say really good things about this as a bronzer for fair skin tones. But today I just use it as a blush to give my cheeks some color. For eyeshadow, I went with just the Tarte Lip Palette. I really just used these two shades, Charmer and Flower Child. Charmer and Flower Child. These two matte cream shades all over my lid. Didn't do anything else. For brows, I went with the Gimme Brow number 3, and for lips, I went with the Pink Truffle from Revlon. This used to be, I believe, the same shade as one of those like lip butters that they had, but now they just have it in one of their black tube lipsticks. Anyway, everything went on top of my foundation really, really nicely, aside from that Laura Mercier, but I was able to fix it. Let's take a look at the pore situation that we were looking at earlier. After I did everything with the powder, that usually really helps with my pores anyway. I don't see the foundation sinking into my pores. I will say it is sinking into my one fine line on my forehead, but a lot of foundations do that lately. But I will say if I'm more hydrated, which I'm not today, during the work week I drink like 10 big water bottles full of water a day. During the weekend I don't. I should be getting into that habit. But so my skin is a little bit more dehydrated on the weekends. I wouldn't say this foundation is full coverage. It is a decent skin tone match for me. I will say this probably would be too dark for me in the winter times, but in the winter. But fair neutral is probably a pretty solid shade match for me now that we are in the spring and summer months. Like I said, it's not super full coverage. I didn't add concealer or anything to these spots to show you guys that it's not super full coverage, and that is with like 1.5-ish layers of the foundation. It did build nicely on top of each other with the sponge. Would say that a sponge is probably my preferred method of application, and that this primer probably was not my best choice. I probably would prefer using something a bit more hydrating. I did pick up the new Tarte Radiance drops. That should be coming probably, hopefully, not 2 weeks. This foundation stick took 2 weeks to get to me from Sephora, along with another order of item that I placed an order for, and that was insane. So hopefully the Radiance drops do not take another 2 weeks to get to me, because I really would like to sort of update you guys in the description box below how this foundation applies with that product as well. Overall, I'm really enjoying this foundation. Like I said, it's not super full coverage, which is not usually what I'm looking for in a foundation, but really evened out my skin tone. Is a really decent shade match for me as well. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.